to pee. Why didn't you go pee?
I don't know. Yep, that's exactly what. Because maybe I want to, maybe I don't want to, maybe I want to, maybe I don't.
They paved this road. That they needed to do. Right, Daddy? Daddy.
Huh?
That was fun, Daddy. What did you think of the beer festival?
I wasn't too enthused about that. First of all, it pissed me off that they gave us those shitty ass plastic.
Why?
They were just too expensive.
I'd go back again.
I would take you again. You know why? Because I know you would like to go back. You asked my opinion and I gave it. Right?
So it's not so bad you won't bring me back.
Oh, no.
Is Oak Room like that?
What?
Is Oak Room so bad you won't bring me back?
Oh, I'd bring you back to Oak Room. But I'd rather bring you back to
You can't beat alchemy.
You're listening to the BBC World Service here on 90.7 WFAE Charlotte, 90.3 WFAG Hickory, and WFAE.org, Charlotte's NPR news source. Service, it's 6 hours GMT. Welcome to Weekend with me, Paul Henley. Today, China says European countries need to think about how to end the war in Ukraine. But is Russia listening to them, or to the Western countries pledging long-term support to Ukraine? We'll also hear from Ukrainian refugees still adjusting to their new lives in neighbouring Poland.
I try not to think about Ukraine, because if I think too much, then I'll start crying. For example, if I think how good it would be to be in Ukraine and in my own house.
Also, adverts for natural gas are all over social media.
The ads we're seeing now are not questioning the fact that climate change is a problem.
I'm David Harper with the BBC News. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says he's warned China there will be consequences if it provides material support for Russia in its war against Ukraine. He delivered the message in a meeting with China's top diplomat Wang Yi on the sidelines of a security conference in Munich. Interviewed later on CBS television, Mr. Blinken said that the US had information China was considering providing lethal support to Russia.
Just a couple of weeks into the war, President Biden shared with President Xi our deep concern about the possibility China would provide lethal support to Russia in this effort, as well as engage in the systematic evasion of sanctions. And the reason for that concern was just weeks before the aggression, President Xi and President Putin had a meeting in which they talked about a partnership with no limits. And we were concerned that among the lack of limits would be Chinese support for Russia in the war.
Former US President Jimmy Carter has decided to receive hospice care at home instead of further treatment in hospital. His foundation, the Carter Center, said he had the full support of his family and doctors. The 98-year-old Democrat lives with his wife Rosalind in the state of Georgia, where he was governor. Prosecutors in Bulgaria have charged 6 people with human trafficking after 18 Afghan migrants were found dead inside a truck on the outskirts of Sofia on Friday. 5 suspects are in custody, the other is on the run. James Reed reports.
The deaths of the Afghan migrants has shocked Bulgaria, which is on the overland route for people fleeing to Europe from the Middle East and Asia. The Attorney General said they died slowly and painfully, suffocating in cramped hidden compartments in the truck. He said the driver refused to stop despite repeated banging on the cab, then fled instead of helping the victims. 34 others survived the ordeal. Some of them are still in hospital. The case is another reminder of the risks migrants take in search of a better future, and the disregard for life shown by some of those who profit from their desperation.
North Korea says the intercontinental ballistic missile it launched yesterday into the Sea of Japan was a military drill and served as a warning to the United States and South Korea. The missile flew for an hour before landing west of the Japanese island Hokkaido. Its estimated range of 14,000 kilometers puts the US mainland in reach. Here's our Seoul correspondent, Jean Mackenzie.
Yesterday's launch was different to many of the recent tests North Korea has carried out. Rather than testing the weapon itself, it was testing its military's ability to launch the missile at short notice. The launch is proof, Pyongyang says, that it could successfully attack the United States with nuclear weapons. It's warning the US not to hold large-scale military exercises with South Korea, due to begin next month. The countries say these drills are defensive, but North Korea interprets them as its enemies preparing to invade.
Jean Mackenzie. World News from the BBC. Syria says Israel has carried out an airstrike on a residential neighbourhood in Damascus. Reports say 13 people were killed and many others injured. State television showed a badly damaged 10-story building. The targeted district is home to a heavily guarded security complex. The Mexican president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has signed a decree giving the Energy Ministry control of the country's lithium deposits. It follows his decision to nationalize the mineral, which is used to make batteries for electric vehicles. Mr. López Obrador said he wanted to make sure the people of Mexico were the beneficiaries of the lithium reserves.
The decision has already been made. The law has been passed in the legislative power, and the lithium belongs to the nation. Nationalize lithium so that it cannot be exploited by foreigners, either from Russia, China, or the United States.
Buckingham Palace says King Charles has commissioned 12 pieces of music to be performed alongside traditional compositions at his coronation in London in May. It says the new music will reflect the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. King Charles has also requested Greek Orthodox music in tribute to his late father, Prince Philip. Revellers enjoying Carnival at Rio de Janeiro will gear up later for the all-night parade, the climax of the event. Thousands of dancers, singers and musicians will be carried on dazzling floats in a riot of noise and colour through the streets of the Brazilian city. The world's biggest carnival attracts millions of people. An art gallery in Miami has been picking up the pieces after a visitor nudged a balloon dog sculpture made by Jeff Koons, sending it crashing to the floor. The blue porcelain artwork, valued at $42,000, shattered into more than 100 shards. The pieces are being kept pending an insurance assessment, but one collector has already offered to buy them. That's the latest BBC News.
How the hell did that make the BBC World News?
It's 6:06 GMT. Welcome to Weekend here on the BBC World Service with me, Paul Henley. Let's begin today at the Bayerischer Hof Hotel in central Munich, where at the annual security conference we heard yesterday the American Vice President say that Russia had committed crimes against humanity in Ukraine. We also heard the French President say that Russia must be defeated but not crushed, and we heard the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky encouraging those attending the summit to keep their focus.
Я вдячний всім лідерам за підтримку і за те, що було вчора, і за сигнали, які
I am grateful to all the leaders for their support and for what happened yesterday, and for the signals that were in Munich today, which confirm that Russian aggression will have only one end, namely the defeat of the terrorist state. And we must do everything to hasten the Russian defeat. The pressure of the world should be such that Russia does not have time to find new forms of terror.
Well, the conference ends today, and the symbolism, Western countries wanting to appear united, is almost as important as the actual security policies discussed in Munich. But as the first anniversary of the start of the war approaches, will the Kremlin have been watching and listening? Let's speak to Sergei Utkin, who is Associate Professor at the University of Southern Denmark. He joins us live. Professor Utkin, welcome to the programme. Obviously, a lot of what's been said in Munich is actually directed at the Kremlin. Will the Kremlin have been listening?
Oh, of course, they pay attention to what's happening in Munich, but the main messages, they come as no surprise. I think everybody expected this kind of mood in the Western community, and what you can hear in official Russian circles about this Munich conference.
Yeah, of course they're listening.
Of course they're listening.
We know. And that's like a no-shit Sherlock.
Yeah. You're right.
Huh?
You are right.
Yeah. I can't believe that
Away, Joe.
people that think China and Russia aren't looking at Joe Biden being a dumbass.
Of course they are, Joe.
Of course. We know. They're salivating over Biden's. They're salivating over it. Thank you, Daddy.